Hey everyone, Richard Kennedy here. I hope all of you are doing well. Today is Friday, September the 18th, 2020. And I started writing my blog a while ago, and it's after, it's now after 10 o'clock p.m. at night. And I started writing my Christian blog on my website, newevolutioncounseling.com. And I needed to go ahead and make a video to share with you some stories, a couple of testimonies of people that I met over this last week and a half. But before I do that, I want to read out of my mother's old Bible, little small book. I randomly opened it up to Psalms 86, verse 5. For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. And that's a wonderful verse. The people that call upon Him. And one other thing here I want to read, and this is from our daily bread. This is one of my mother's old daily breads from 2008, and I randomly opened it up. And at the bottom here it says, "Redeem the time. God only knows how soon our little life may close. As every passing moment flows, redeem the time. Plan as though you'll be living for a century. Live as though you'll be living or leaving today." So live as though you'll be leaving today. I'll get it out right, sorry. And how true is that? If you've heard my stories about me dying twice in the hospital, 2016, great shape, visiting my elderly mother in the hospital and just passing out for some unknown reason in May of 2016, and that's when all these visions and things started happening, actually at the beginning of 2017, in January 2017, after my two near deaths in May 2016. But over this last week and a half, I've met two extraordinary people. One comes from a background of wealth, oil and gas person who actually had a son, and I'll start with him first. He actually had a son, two sons actually, that passed away. One of them I went to high school with, and mysteriously the son had an aneurysm while out doing what he loved to do, was fishing one day with a friend. He had a brain clot or something of that nature that caused him to die. And then 3 months after that, another one of his sons had an automobile accident as he was pulling into his driveway or what have you, and very bad collision, somehow lost control of the truck, and it killed him right down the street from his father's house. So this man lost two of his children within 3 months of each other, and one of them I knew from my high school days. So I was speaking with him last week, as a matter of fact, and come to find out I didn't know he was a retired preacher, but he was also a very wealthy person in the oil and gas business. And as we were talking, he shared with me some of his visions. And, a lot of people over my time, over the last 4 years, have really just looked at me when I start talking about visions or putting pictures up about my visions. They look at me as if I'm crazy, as if I have lost it. But one thing God has brought me in my visions is He's actually brought me pictures and images in these pictures. I've also have audio, as some of you, as you know. My father passed away in 1999, and I caught my father's voice on an audio recording in 2017. And I still have that recording, and I've caught other recordings as well. But as this gentleman was sharing his story, and a preacher, by the way, again, and he's retired, by the way, an elderly retired man, I kept telling him, tell me more, because I believed everything he was telling me. And he got deeper and deeper into his visions of his son, the first one, that was standing at the gates of heaven, a vision that he had. And then after his other son died, they were very close brothers, by the way, that died. He told me about visions of seeing his first son that perished And then the second son at the gate as well, with his first son holding out his hands, for his brother. Like I said, they were very close. And I found this man. I knew the last name, I knew his son, but I'd never met him before until last week. Unbelievable stories of visions that he has had, and they're plenty. And I kept telling him, tell me more. Tell me more. I wanted to hear more. I couldn't get enough of it, because now God is taking me to people in my life here near my hometown that have actually had visions themselves. Whereas I have felt like I've been shunned by others. I've been called, accused of blasphemy, and accused of lying, just like the girls and the children in the movie Fatima that just came out. By the way, Fatima, great movie. You need to watch that movie. I highly recommend it, because what happened to those girls happened to me. But this elderly gentleman started talking to me about one of his visions, and he said, I saw a king on a white horse. Yeah, I got visions now. I mean, I've got goosebumps and visions. When he mentioned king on a white horse, you should have seen me. I jumped back and I grabbed my heart. I said, oh my God, I've got that picture. I've got the image. A king on a white horse, he appeared in my DNA when I was doing something I had never done before in 2018. I was searching for a missing boy. And the Lord came to me and gave me ways of what's called touch DNA, in learning how to extract DNA from things out in the woods that somebody would use, or touch DNA somebody would use as a murder weapon or what have you to kill somebody. I came up with a way of extracting the DNA from such weapons, and the local forensics lab here worked with me in 2018. They gave me 7 vials. Notice the number 7. They gave me 7 vials to do experiments with in these extractions of what I was doing. And in one of these vials, my ex-girlfriend, as I was about to take them the next morning to the forensics lab for them to test the DNA that I had extracted, my ex-girlfriend looked at one and goes, there's a horse in one of those little tubes, and the tube's this big. Literally, this big. And this little white extraction of DNA is about that big. And you see the pictures. It's my DNA that was pulled from things like touching concrete, touching sticks, and things out in the environment for environmental DNA. It was my DNA. And as I zoomed in, I said, my gosh, my ex-girlfriend, I said, my gosh, it sure does look like a horse. A white king on a white horse. And there I went. Man, when she told me that, I started zooming in. And the closer I zoomed in, the more I zoomed in. And it was 818 when I just said this. There it was. There was a cloud, as you see in the pictures, and a king on a white horse. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this was 2018. This is now 2020. And he mentions, this elderly gentleman, of a vision of a king on a white horse. It just so happened I had in my truck a picture of the king on that white horse. And he mentioned other things too. A wave of water and a couple other things in his visions. And guess what? I have pictures of his visions. These are visions that he had from 2012, 2013, 2014. Okay? Again, I had never met this man. I knew the last name. I knew his son from high school. And I graduated high school a long time ago. Okay? And when he spoke of these visions, I have the pictures of some of his visions. And he and I will be talking more. But I showed him the king on the white horse. That was last week. Today, September 18th, I was out and about later this afternoon. And my ex-girlfriend, I was riding with her, and she saw a lady selling tamales on the side of the road. And this is a very, very busy 4-lane highway. And she whooped around, and I was on my phone. The ex-girlfriend did. She was driving, and I'm on my phone. I'm doing some things, looking like I always do. And she pulls up to this tamale lady selling tamales, and she pulled up, and the girl was on my side. I was on the passenger side. The lady was, and she had these 2 ice chests, full of tamales. And she came up, and when she came up, and my ex-girlfriend said, I'll take some, a whole bag of them. I mean, big bag of them. And so I noticed a Bible, a blue Bible, sitting on top of one of her ice chests. I said, "Oh, you got a Bible sitting there?" She said, "Yeah." She said, things. I started. I became a reborn Christian or such a while back, and I don't remember exactly how the whole conversation went. As we're sitting there in the car, and she's standing there beside me at the window, and she said, things have really been bad since COVID-19, and she said, I started reading the Bible again. I was brought up in a really bad, family life, and the point I'm getting at here is, she had lost her job, and she was selling these tamales on the side of the road. And she said, I have a family, I have children. I lost my job because of Corona, and I didn't know what to do. And she said, I turned to the Lord, and I started reading my Bible. And I know my tamales are good, she said, and I just decided to go ahead and just in one Friday, come out and just see what I could do. And she said it was less than 2 hours. She's completely sold out of her tamales. And she had she sold $400 worth, completely sold out in like less than 2 hours. And she was about to be evicted, her family was, from their apartment. And that $400 saved her from being evicted. And this was just a couple months ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a story. And again, I referenced the Bible. And she said, I'm getting into the book of Revelations. And I've completely turned my life over to the Lord. And I said, well, I can interpret the book of Revelations. And she said, well, I had a vision, and I don't know how to share this and speak with anyone, but I'll go ahead and tell you. She said, I had a vision of a king on a white horse. And I'm just waiting for somebody to come in and to kind of translate this for me. And I said, here I am. She completely broke out in tears, bawling, crying. She took her mask off. I had my mask on. We were still in the COVID thing. And I pulled mine down, and I said, here I am. And she just really started weeping with joy. Oh my God. I said, I'm here. And I took her hand outside the window. And I said, I'm going to pray for you. And I took my hat off. And I prayed for her. And as I prayed for her, and I asked the Lord to please give her riches. Please, Lord, please give this woman all the riches that she needs for her family. And as I was praying for her, and I had a hold of her hand, in other words, I had her hand was between here, and I had on top, or I had it enclosed with both of my hands. And they started heating up between my hand and her hand. It started heating up as I had her palm here, then I had her palm, and in this part of my palm, under her palm, it started getting really hot. I've never reached out and said anything like this before, but I've healed people. That's a very delicate thing. It's a very delicate line to get into. I don't walk around and go around saying I'm a healer. But I felt the healing going through this woman. She says she's now making enough money, to take care of her family. And she was crying. And I gave her one of my cards. I said, here, I want to hear more of your stories, because she had a vision of a king on a white horse. And again, when she said that, I said, here I am. Don't ask me why, but this was twice in a week and a half. The king on the white horse, which is in the book of Revelations, that appears, and I want y'all to look it up. I'm not even going to tell you where it is. It's in the book of Revelations. I want each and every one of you to read the book of Revelations where it says the king on the white horse. And the king on the white horse is also referenced in other areas in the Bible as well. This lady stole my heart. Maybe 40ish or so years old. But when she started crying, it hit me like a rock. And I'm like, oh wow, this is two people. One from a very wealthy background, huge house, mansion type home, that had a vision of both of his sons at heaven, and a vision of the king on the white horse. He's not worried about money. He's got plenty of money. And then I got this other woman over here that was about to lose her home, get evicted from her apartment or home, needed money, and she turned to the Bible. Now this was a preacher, and this was just a plain woman like myself out there. Two different walks of life, but both had the same vision of the king on the white horse just recently. Well, one back in 2014 or so, 2012 and 13, he told me, and then this one just recently over the last few months. But they're both telling the same story. So rich or poor, it doesn't matter. They share with me the same story, and I have the pictures of their visions. The point I'm getting at, these pictures and images that I have, they're not just for me. And over this last week and a half, and I've got large goosebumps on my arms right now, these pictures are not just my pictures. They are not just my images. Sure, they're visions that I've had. These are pictures and images that came to me, but they're not just for me. A wall of water, that's this other gentleman. A wall of water, I've got that picture. That came to me in 2017, and that I referenced to Hoover Dam. I looked behind it, a wall of water. And then the king on the white horse. Again, it doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. We all are the same on the inside. And when we each and every one of us turn to the Bible in time of need, whereas the elderly gentleman turned, he was already a preacher, but he turned to the Bible because he lost his two sons. And this one turned to the Bible because she was about to lose her home or apartment and get evicted. They both turned to the Bible, and great things are happening. And I've got their pictures of their images. God bless each and every one of you. I'm telling you, the Lord is real. And He's advancing me very quickly in these stages because He's now bringing people. And by the way, my ex-girlfriend doesn't even really care for tamales. But she turned around for some reason. She did not know why, to go buy these tamales from this lady. And after we left, we were there maybe a good 10 minutes talking to this lady after I prayed with her. And after we left, I told my ex-girlfriend, well, there's your reason why. You don't like tamales, but she'll eat them eventually. But there was a reason why she turned around. And I was wondering, why are we getting tamales? So I thought, you in a rush, I got to get home. I got things I got to do. She did it for a reason. That was God telling her to turn around. And I made that woman's life. I made her day because I had a vision. I have a picture of her vision. God bless each and every one of you. I'm here to talk. I'm here to listen. Visions are real. Prophets are real. And there's a lot of extraordinary things going on right now. We're in the the Greek alphabet now on name storms for hurricanes this year and tropical storms. We've already gone through 21. There's like 23 now. Yeah, because we're on beta. Alpha and beta, we're already there. This is an unusual year for storms, but it's also an awesome year, as I told the woman this afternoon, for a Jesus moment, a Jesus movement, a God movement, and it's taking place, and it's taking place quickly. God bless each and every one of you. Visions are real. Prophets are real. Take heed in the Lord. God bless. Amen.